There's a tremendously long tradition of occult bookshops as meeting places for witches and pagans and people interested in these subjects. In that tradition, which we follow, we provide herbs, books, candles, ingredients, tarot cards, a range of sort of meeting places and meeting spaces, and advice for people who want to know how they could get further involved. And this has been going on in London, which is an incredibly magical city, for about 400 to 500 years. So the ingredients are very much part of the things that people take away and take out and use in nature. And they often in the parks of London or the woods outside of London often have people who are taking things like this in their rucksacks and going and spending time with them and meditating with them or using them at home. Like many people, I got interested in some kind of spiritual mysticism to do with nature in my teens, and I was in my early 20s when I discovered the path of the pagan witches, which is called Wicca, and have been on that path ever since. It just grabs hold and it doesn't let you go, and I think I'm one of those people.
So Ellie, you are a practising witch. You've been a witch since you were 10. Can you tell me what that actually means?
There's two sides really to my witchcraft. One of them is the spirituality. So I believe in a god and a goddess, and I believe that nature itself is divine. And then the second part of that is that I think that everybody has power, and that as a witch I can learn how to use that power. And people often call that magic and spells and things like that, so I do spell work and magic. Magical incense is really, really common in witchcraft and spellcraft, and you put together the ingredients that correspond to what you want to do. So you've asked for prosperity, so I've collected together some herbs and an oil which are going to draw prosperity to you magically. Okay, so firstly we've got frankincense. Frankincense is proverbially expensive.
Yeah.
And so it's very much associated with being wealthy and being rich. The next one I've chosen are juniper berries. Yeah. They are for the sun, because the sun symbolises success. So we want you to be successful and prosperous. And then I've also got cardamom, and cardamom is the one that's really for wealth. It's green, which is considered to be the colour of prosperity within witchcraft and magic. Whilst I'm doing this, I'm putting my own energy into it and releasing the smells and the energies of the herbs as I crush them up. And then we're going to use an oil to bind it all together, and I've got cedarwood oil, because cedarwood's another one that's really good for wealth and prosperity. So there, we've made a simple but effective magical incense.
How often do you make incense for yourself?
I burn incense every day. I burn incense when I pray and when I meditate. And I probably make incense. I make incense when I need it, which is a couple of times a month for different things.
Mm-hmm. It smells amazing. I don't have a very good sense of smell usually, but
do you want to burn a bit to?
Yeah, I'd love to. What do it so?
So take a pinch and drop it on top of the charcoal.
Is that enough?
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
And you can see the smoke rising up.
Wow.
Everything that you've put in is now going out into the world and into the air.
I mean, everyone's fascinated by magic at the moment. You've got people who would call themselves chaos magicians, you've got people who would call themselves druids, you've got people who would call themselves witches. Personally, I try not to label myself, but I'm roughly a hedge witch. I'm very much like Ellie. I'm a solitary practitioner. A lot of people light a candle for Samhain. We call, I mean, some people call it Halloween within our craft. Some people call it Samhain, which is the old Celtic word for summer's end. There's two parts to it. It's the end of the year and the beginning of the new year for us. And so it's a good time for remembering the year, but also we use it for remembering our dead as well, the people who've been in our lives. We want to honour our ancestors and our friends who've passed on. At a wider level, we like to remember the people who are ostracised, or people, the outsiders as well. It is about recognising your place in creation, in the natural world, and being of the natural world, and also participating in it, which hence the side of magic. I think perhaps a lot of people's perceptions of what we do, it's not a lot of people's perceptions of witchcraft, but it's an intensely personal path, as much as anybody else's. It's a bona fide sacred path of the UK.